We're wrapping up clips from Minicamp, and today we're going to watch the buffet of Caleb Williams. I got all the clips here, but before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. Training camp is just around the corner. In a couple weeks, we'll be going over the players again in training camp, and it will be every day. It'll be at a faster pace. They'll have pads on. They will be popping, and you're going to need to know the news as things progress through training camp. Click that button. Stop missing out on what your favorite players are doing behind the scenes. But Caleb Williams here. 10 minutes and 23 seconds of clips. Minicamp, OTAs, rookie camp, a little bit of everything. We're going to watch. We're going to talk ball. We'll loop it if we got to talk some more. But there we are, slinging the ball around. Caleb Williams, getting it out there. Again, some of these are blown up, but what I have is what I have. I've been collecting these for some time, over the entire offseason, it feels like. But Caleb Williams, he's got an arm on him. His arm's very live. That's one thing you can definitely say. And he's very creative. He can throw off platform, different arm angles. He's got a lot of upside in his offense. Caleb Williams, very confident player. A player that no matter where he goes, he exudes confidence. He has good charisma. And that says a lot about him to me, because confidence lets me know that you're very sure of yourself. And if you're not sure of yourself, how are you ever going to do it? Law of attraction as well. Like throughout his career, high school career, Oklahoma, USC, he's had a good career. This season, last year, 2023, he had a run of games that did not go too hot. I pointed that out in the offseason. I pointed that out. I went over the tape. I talked about the tape, but I couldn't go over it due to copyright purposes. But the one thing I saw on his tape, it's the first reads, want to push it downfield. Then I got confirmation from other sources like PFF and that, and they pretty much said the same thing, but they didn't really go into it. And I did a video, and I was just talking about it. Like, hey, I'll just point this out, and what everybody else is pointing out, I don't really care about, but I just care about this. But overall, I have him as my quarterback one. I still have him as a good talent. It's just I'm looking at the full picture here. And a lot of people don't like it when you look at the full picture. But I do like him as a quarterback. I like his mobility as well. And if you haven't seen that, go look at his tape at Oklahoma. I like how Spencer Rattler went out and he jumped in. Like, he was the guy. When he was at Oklahoma, he took the approach to the job like he was the guy. That's what I liked about him. That's what I like about him most. A lot of people are funny about his personality and stuff. I kind of like it. The more that I look at him, the more I think about him. Just going back from his younger days to throughout his career. Just holding himself as if he is the guy, as if he's already won it, as if he's already done it. And then it's just manifesting. That's what Caleb Williams is. And a lot of people don't understand that because they're not about that. And very few people are. And I see that out of Caleb Williams. And just got to see if it holds true throughout a career. Because that can come and go with people. Definitely see that all the time. But Caleb Williams is very creative on the run. Very creative in the pocket. That's one thing about him. He can push it downfield. Very confident with the ball in his hands. I like that as well. He plays off script a lot. Sometimes it might be a little bit too much. But when he does, he does. And he can be brilliant with it. That's the thing about it. And if that can translate to the NFL game, we can fine-tune that up, then that you guys got yourselves a tremendous quarterback. A tremendous quarterback. Now I'm confusing people because a minute ago it sounded like I was down on him, and now I'm really up on him because I look at the full picture. I try to look as much as I can. And the thing about Caleb Williams, just watching him throw the ball and then looking at this Bears team, they're doing everything possible to get it right with Caleb Williams. They're trying. They brought in Keenan Allen. They got DeAndre Swift, depending on if he wants to check it down that way. But DeAndre Swift, great in the passing great game, great in space, electric. And then Rome Odunze to grow with Caleb Williams. Those guys are building a rapport. And the fact that they're building a rapport, you're seeing them off the field with each other, and they're friends, and that they're building a chemistry, that's just good to see. You're seeing him toss the ball around. There's not many misses on this tape. out in front of his wide receiver. Pitch and catch looks like pitch and catch. Nothing really weird going on. Maybe once I'm calling it out, maybe something weird happens. But he's looking good. He's looking good. Be patient with all rookie quarterbacks. On top of that, most rookie quarterbacks don't pan out. About what? Like 30% of them hit. So it's a very low hit rate. So look for that. Look for a ramp up. Look for him to have a rookie season. Don't look for him to come out and be balls out. We've had a lot of great quarterbacks start off rough. Start off on their second team and then hit. We've had that happen a lot of times. We've seen that. We've seen a lot of different stuff throughout the history of the National Football League with these quarterbacks, especially over the last 5 to 10 years as the passing game has changed. These quarterbacks at the younger ages, they're in and they're out. That's how it is. But if you want to look at pure upside, if you want to look at pure potential, Caleb Williams has it. And we've been looking forward to this for quite some time. And if you're following the high school recruiting scene, which you should, you really should be for these prospects. It really makes all this even bigger, more glamorous for that. But Caleb Williams was a big-time recruit, big-time prospect. Him versus Ewers coming out. Him versus the whole college football spectrum. Then him at Oklahoma. And then him at USC. Just the whole career path. And the thing is, it wasn't like he was ever a bad quarterback. He had his moments at USC, of course, last year. But he was never really a bad quarterback. You also got to look at the supporting cast. But you can also flip that around because a lot of people will say that supporting cast is a lot better than what a lot of other quarterbacks had as well. So you can also flip that. I've seen that as well. And if you really go through the wide receivers and everything, you could make that case. You can make that case. But on top of that, he was able to make things happen that a lot of other quarterbacks can't with his mobility, accurate balls downfield, able to really anticipate wide receivers. And not everything's going to be perfect. Not everything's going to be perfect. But he's got some thickness to him too. He's already got the man weight on him. That's something you don't have to worry about him as a quarterback. And it's really more personified with him in the Bears uniform. It just comes out and you see it more than versus what he was at USC. I don't understand why. I always knew his height, weight, and stuff. But I've mentioned that a few times throughout the offseason. This one's in OTAs, but him just throwing the ball around. This is what minicamp and OTAs is. A lot of pitch and catch. Just basics with the schemes. Just getting everybody ramped up. And when you read reports from the media about this, the media is only seeing a small portion of the practices. They're only allowing the media to see what they can see of the practices. That could be like the last 20 minutes, and that's all they see. And they get interviews, and that's it. And that's it. So when you read about these beats, when you get that news, remember that in the back of your head. They're not seeing everything. That's why when you're hearing beats reporters say this and this about a player, and then you come into the season, they're not even seeing the field. That's why they're only seeing what they can be shown. And they're just reporting on it. And they're not getting the full context. They don't care if they get the full context. It's not the Bears' job to give them the full context. They're just giving them enough to promote their stuff. And that's it. So really, when you look at these beat reporters, they're not operating with full context. When they come out to shoot these clips, it's a short little window of practice. They get as much as they can, and then that's it. And when you get the news from them, it's not full context. If they let them watch the full practice, sure. Many times don't. Sometimes it looks like they're getting clips from a parking lot. They're so far back there. I'm talking about the Arizona Cardinals. They do that with their beat reporters. I know this because I do this, and I share this with you guys. So when you start reading news on your players, have that in the back of your mind. And always look at this with a grain of salt and understand where the salt's coming from. That's one thing you got to do with this. And I've noticed that over the course of time doing this, that these beat writers, they don't get all the news. They don't get all the context. And it's not their fault. They would get it to you if they could. They would get it to you if they could. They just can't. But they'll report on anything that comes their way. They will. Even though they know they don't have the context. Even though they know if they had to look at pre-snap reads on the whiteboard, they can't call anything out. But that's it. That's what they'll do. They will definitely report on whatever they see and have. So you have to realize that. You have to realize that. So with Caleb Williams, though, his arm's live. Very strong arm. Very mobile. Get it downfield. I think he's in a situation here where they're more than willing to build around him. Look for them to bring in more weapons over time. Look for that to happen. Look for them to continue to invest. I definitely see that. I see what DJ Moore looks like with Caleb Williams because he was productive last year. He was looking good. I like to see how Keenan Allen looks like in this offense. I think Rome Odunze is going to be on the field more than what people think. And I think Caleb Williams, this rookie season, a lot of people are either not going to be patient or they're just going to look for him to fail off the rip. And the thing about this, you got to be patient with rookies, especially quarterbacks. You got to give them grace. You got to look for them to flash. You got to look for them to flash. And if he goes off, then that's amazing. That's just saying he's generational talent. If he just goes off the start. But if there's a ramp up, some flash, we're looking good at the end of the season, things are looking great, year 2, year 3, that's probably the course. That's just the average course of a good quarterback of what you would imagine things. But also, too, it could be like week 6, we're humming. The weeks prior to that, we're bumpy. It could be something like that. But I'm just saying you just got to be patient. You got to be patient with a young quarterback like this. They are trying to build around him. Things are starting to look good. Let's see what happens with the Bears this time around with a first-round quarterback. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.